everybody, and welcome to this very special edition of our Kickstarter updates for Divinity Original Sin. It's been exactly 1 year since we completed our Kickstarter campaign, which ended so successfully thanks to all of you. And so today I spent some time earlier with David, and we had a look at what the game looked like back then when we were doing the Kickstarter campaign and compared it to what we have now, actually to the version that we're launching currently on Steam Early Access, which you will be able to download pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I think you can download it right now. So what's new? Well, there's a truckload of features that we've added. You'll see things like formations. You'll see things like Way of the Rogue. You will see things like a global chat, which will allow you to chat with everybody who's also playing Original Sin and to communicate with them and set up parties if you want to. And you'll see a whole bunch of usability improvements. There's quite a lot of balancing changes that you shall discover also. We added difficulty levels and well, you just have to have a look at the change list to get an idea of everything that we put in there. I know that we said we weren't going to add any more features, but we still had a little backlog that we were working through as we said that, and now all of that work has been completed. Voice recordings are coming up here at Larian, which means that we're really close to completing the game. Edouard here sitting next to me, he's working on one of the last regions in which you will be adventuring when you're playing Divinity Original Sin. I have here with me, but I'm not going to show you today because I wanted to, but it's not 100% ready yet. No, I'm not showing it. All of the collector's edition materials, we'll be announcing them very soon. Obviously, people who pledged for the higher tiers during Kickstarter are going to get the collector's edition materials. Things that we announced were things like a cloth map, but we added really a lot of goodies in there. So I hope you're going to be pleasantly surprised when we eventually are going to announce collector's edition. Expect that in the next couple of weeks, I guess. We're going to jump to David now and have a look at that comparison I was telling you about, and then I'll be back and I'll brief you on a few of the things that are coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm joined here with David Walgrave, who is Divinity Original Sin's producer, and we will be playing, or at least I will be playing the version from April 2013, the one that was used during the Kickstarter campaign, and David, you will be playing?
I'm playing the version that we just uploaded to Steam.
Alright, let's see if we actually did anything in the last year and if we made any progress. We still started on the beach actually, so that hasn't changed. But there's many things that you can do that I can't do. I'm just going to try to put a fireball on this water here, and you'll notice that nothing happens. However, if you do that,
if I do that, it evaporates the water, creating a steam cloud.
Yeah, and you can put lightning on it, I guess.
I can even put lightning on the steam cloud. And that was on the water.
You electrified the water and you created a static cloud there. So in my case, nothing happened. And back then, we said like the big feature of the game is that you can combine the elements, which was true unless if it happened to be seawater. And so now all the water is actually accessible.
Well, we also said you could interact with every item, and it's true, you could throw it around and you could pick it up. But we now have also given stats to all the items. So they have constitution, they have vitality ratings, they even have armor, they have resistances. When you move it around, you can rotate it, you can stack them on top of each other. So the interactivity has become even higher. I don't know if you can hit crates.
I actually could hit crates, I just did it. As you can see here, but the only thing that I could do was just destroy it, and I think it was hard-coded on the fireball, so it's now a much more intelligent system. Feels also much more RPG-ish. Can we, before we get to those soldiers, I'm going faster than you though, I'm much faster. So that has changed, we slowed it down a bit.
You're also jumping instead of walking.
Yes, it's not really walking what I'm doing, right? If I press my I button, I have my inventory, and if I'm not mistaken, I could access my equipment here, and then I could also check my stats. So that's something that changed tremendously.
I do that with one button instead of three.
Yeah, and you have very different stats also. We changed a lot. As far as I remember, a lot of this changed the moment that we decided that we were going to have companions in there, so that it was going to become more party-focused game.
We also added traits, so when you have dual dialogues you start collecting personal traits. We also added talents.
I don't have any talents.
You don't have any talents.
Thank you.
There's more abilities now. I think
I have abilities. I have abilities. Look at that. It's not really abilities, actually. No. Well, no, no. Look, I mean, I only have this here. These are stats, secondary stats, and these was I had charming, intimidating, and we don't do that anymore. Actually, we just have charisma now. I have things like spell focus, monster lore, which is lore master, and got alchemy. Yeah, well, no, we have a much better list of abilities now.
I just passed by the tutorial.
I didn't have a tutorial in here, and we weren't planning on very much of a tutorial back then, but now we are making it more accessible through that tutorial. Let's talk to the two guards, because you clearly see there's been some differences here in the discussion. Although we already had the system that we were going to have dual dialogues, right? If you want to arrest us, you had better go, and then she disagreed, and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
And in your case,
so first of all, I'm zoomed in. I think that the characters look even better.
they look a lot better. A lot of work has been done on
We have
the
this
artwork.
depth of field thing going on here. I can trade with them. We had planned to only trade with traders, but now you can trade with pretty much anyone. If I disagree here, we get the charm, intimidate, reason thing.
That was something
We were only planning it for NPCs, I think.
Yeah, it came from the discussions that we had with our community, that one. I remember that when it was materializing through the Kickstarter, that would be the best system, charm, intimidate, reason against one another. And then we have the newly added rock, paper, scissors game, which has been leading to quite a lot of competition of recent in people that were playing it in multiplayer. So you're not in combat, so you're not going to... Can you attack one of these guys?
Of course I can.
Yeah, so well, I'm in combat anyway, so... A lot of stuff has changed in that also. I mean, you can change your turn order, you got action points which are being transported into the next turn also. Yeah, well, I don't have a lot to do. I mean, I don't even know, I can't do anything here.
You changed the combat flee rules.
Still like that.
Of course, a lot has been done to different types of weapons, action point cost balancing, skills. Jesus Christ, how many skills did we add?
We planned back then, we only planned on what we called the schools, and we were going to have a couple of elemental schools, but now we still have like categories like elemental schools, but we have a truckload, a veritable truckload of skills. I mean, how many skills do you have in that game?
I think more than 100, actually.
Well, yeah, I'm like, here I was going to have 40 skills or something like that, so it's really... and plus a skill pipeline with which you can easily create new skills. That's also a very new thing. I'm having a hard time playing here, you know. It's not so easy once you got used to everything that's in there. I can't imagine that we played this with people like Total Biscuit and Angry Joe. And we were trying to convince everybody like, this is the best RPG you've ever played. Yeah, I died. So, absolutely.
They probably realized it was still in alpha, because one thing we did is we made it a lot more, how do you call it, user-friendly. Added a lot of feedback.
Yeah, that's true. Really a lot of it. Yeah, but there were systems which were never going to get in there. Systems that you are now using as if it's the most normal thing in the world, but which back then were just not going to happen.
Could you go and have a look at the burning ship?
Sure.
Because I remember that 1 year ago we were actually thinking about removing this because it didn't look good. The people that were coming to help were supposed to have buckets and they were supposed to throw water, and we said this is never gonna happen, and we were thinking about removing the burning ship.
Yeah, that's true. And now you have buckets and you have, well, every object can burn in the game, so, and this ship actually has hit points if I'm not mistaken. Can you hover over it? Pretty sure, yeah, there you go. It actually has real stats.
Yeah, so, and it's burning.
Yeah.
So all the statuses we have, well, most of the statuses, obviously not blinded or anything, but most of the statuses we have, we can apply them to items as well.
Oh, I want to show you something else, because I'm really happy about this thing. Now, for some reason, if I talk to a cow, it says moo, and I can ask it questions, and this was a joke from one of the designers. But now, obviously, we have something like Pet Pal, and Pet Pal is a talent which got added completely through the Kickstarter. We were hoping that we were going to be able to do it, but we added so many quests as a result of the addition of that talent that I'm really happy about that, because we pulled it through all the way to the end of the game, actually.
When we were presenting this game to the press, we always said, like, you're source hunters, so you can talk to animals, and now you actually have to learn how to talk to animals. So it's become more something of a side quest.
Well, I mean,
because
if you don't have it, you're just going to miss out on plenty of quests. Then we had the writers that we hired as a result of Kickstarter who put in what she did, 200 rats that she was giving dialogues. Yeah.
Every rat in the game has something unique to say. Which was also the idea of a designer that we could hire thanks to Kickstarter.
A good place that shows a lot of the improvements that we've done is this tavern here. Not only does David's version look a lot better than mine, there's much more that he can do in it. And here for instance you have henchmen, so Frank and Alfred, you can hire them. But now of course we have something better than henchmen.
I can hire a unique companion. So this is Madura. She has her own visual. She even has her own gear. She has her own backstory, and she will start reacting to the stuff that you do and the things that you choose in the game. She has her own personality. So, for instance, if you need someone like her in your party, but you tick her off, she's going to become very angry with you, and she'll start talking about it. So I think this is way beyond a simple henchman that just walks around like a headless chicken. And
because when I talk to Alfred here, I can dismiss or leave, and he says yes, boss. So that's a pretty big difference here. My tavern is also much smaller than yours. You have an upstairs, which is obviously a testimonial to the fact that we were going to add NPC schedules, which we didn't quite manage. But still, we added content over there. There was a lot of extra stuff to be done there. There's a trader now there also, if I'm not mistaken.
My tavern indeed has changed more into an inn. So instead of having just 2 rooms, there's lots of bedrooms here that introduce a couple of new quests and NPCs. And for instance, this trader, Shareth, which is very interesting because she's the one that's selling the witchcraft skill books, which is also again a new class of skills that we introduced thanks to Kickstarter.
There was no talk of witchcraft back then, and as I happen to know that this particular character will also be selling some of the new skills which are being introduced in the beta that we are launching today. But I guess I should talk about that, otherwise I'm spoiling things. Let's go to the graveyard, because that's also a pretty good indication of things that have changed. Now, I'm already at the graveyard, but obviously you have to traverse a larger space. And at my graveyard, I have a dog, and if I would have pet pal, my dog is a cat. But it was a cat who thought he was going to be a dog, who is eventually going to get his dog's visual. So I can do stuff with the dog, but I'm not going to do that. But you can do much, much more on the graveyard. Actually, on this particular small surface, you can literally see how much density we've added to the game. To the right, you're on the right. That's it.
Here, I'm almost afraid to click anything here. So indeed, we have a digging mechanism now that we're not only using to hide treasure here and there, but you can also try to dig up graves. Sometimes it's very rewarding, sometimes it's very dangerous. But on this graveyard there's even a hidden tunnel. I'm not going to tell you where it is.
I guess you can show, most people know about this tunnel anyway. Okay. We want them to discover this tunnel.
So I pick up the shovel, I click on this thing, and I start digging. Actual digging animation and everything. And here comes the tunnel. And then there's actually some combat inside Seal, which was a bit lacking, I agree.
Yeah, and so you can go through, and there's all things that I can't do in here. But there's so much more. You got oil there. We didn't have oil back then. And you can put the oil to fire. If you walk into the oil, you get slowed. All these status effects that we've added is also a result of the Kickstarter. And I don't have anything to show here. There's not a lot that I can do. What I could do was walk this way and can you try going outside here, out of sight Seal? And try getting out here. Yeah, so I can do this, and if our cameraman can jump to me, this is what it looks like for me. Alright?
Yeah, and just immediately get out.
Yeah, and so this is what it looks like for David when he's getting out.
I have to ask
to
the friendly legionnaire to open the gate, and he warns me. So they actually now react to whether he thinks that we can handle it or not.
Yeah. You can go out. Well, don't get into combat maybe, but there's some zombies there who are healing in the poison, and you got a big ballista up there which you can use
to shoot the zombies.
Yeah. I have nada, niente, nothing. But there's a cooking pot. Can I use a cooking pot? I think you can cook on the cooking pot.
I can, but I don't know if you can.
I don't think I can. I mean, crafting here was limited, very, very, very limited, in what you could do. And like this, these are not the same games anymore, in my opinion. I mean, they look like they're related to one another, but you know, they're related like, I don't know what. There's a key there. You're showing the key. You're showing a hidden secret. Isn't that supposed to be linked to your perception now? The distance? It is? That's because of your perception. Yeah, so you're not seeing, like if I press the Alt, so there's another difference. Can you press Alt? Okay, so David has a lot less that he sees on his screen because his perception only shows a certain amount of things, and here I have plenty of stuff. That's something that was suggested on our forums and which got implemented, and the amount of community feedback that has been implemented is literally astounding. We have this huge list, and I still can't believe the amount of things that were actually checked on those lists and that were integrated into the game. People are going to see that very soon, actually, as fast as they downloaded their new update. All right.
I think the biggest difference is actually that when we were presenting that game, it seems that these games are the same, but in the newest version, everything is even more systemic. So burning is really burning. A lot of times there, in the old version a year ago, we had to make something that it could burn and then make a new animation, this and that. And so we made everything a lot more systemic, which really makes it it's more of a playground as well, and everything actually reacts the way that you expect it to.
No, it's true, and I mean, as a result, we also have much more alternative solutions. I mean, the thing that you can pickpocket somebody instead of doing the quest for him and still get the item that you want from him to access somewhere else. The fact that you don't need to, you can kill everybody. Like back then, it wasn't like that. You could kill everybody and get away with it. At least not to the level that we've integrated it now. It is much more. Let's put it in there, I would say. So, and this, the entire gel mechanic also. It's clear that a lot has changed. Obviously, a lot would have changed already because we were developing this game. It wasn't finished back then, but for sure, it wouldn't have changed that drastically as it's changed now. All right, I think that's okay for our little overview here. There's much more, but I think that's okay for now. So I'm standing here next to the Larian coffee machine, which is responsible for half the features that you have in Original Sin, and you just saw some of the differences between the version that we are putting on early access today and the version that we showed around to journalists back in 2013 in April. But there's more stuff that has happened in the background, and one of the things I'm really proud of is the thing that I'm going to do right now. This is my laptop. It's a bit dirty, and you will see there are no wires, all right? And so then you will see that I have this little icon here. It's the Divinity Original Sin icon, and so I'm going to click on it. And this is the version that is going to be shipping very soon on Steam Early Access. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be there in the next couple of weeks. And so let's start up the game. Start it up in single player. So you're looking at the Mac version in action. And look at how fast it goes. Obviously this is a fast MacBook, but still. We're very proud of the fact that it's running so well on it, because it's part of the core vision of what we had for Original Sin. You should be able to play it on two laptops and just connect with one another and play together. And that's very much what we are achieving. And so, here I'm just playing it like I would be playing it on PC, and every single thing that I can do on my PC version I can now do on my laptop, and it works like a charm to sit together with somebody else and play it in multiplayer, also in drop-in multiplayer. So it's literally the same thing. And hopefully, this is something that we're working on, hopefully it's going to be, well, you know what, I'll keep that for the official Mac announcement. I was about to wrap up and then somebody told me that I forgot something pretty important actually, which is the release date of Divinity Original Sin. Now I know that we lost pretty much all credibility in the release date department because we kept on slipping and we kept on changing our release dates, but this time I think it might be the one. The reason I'm saying this is because we started up the manufacturing process. That means that right now all the collector's editions are being printed, and if we don't manage to release it in time, then suddenly we're going to be facing a room full of collector's editions and manuals and boxes and CDs with nothing on it. So we have every interest in being ready in time. There's another reason, because if we don't manage to ship it on that date, the date which I'm about to announce, then most likely we'll have to take turns at a divorce lawyer. So, what is it? Well, it's going to be the day before Solstice, which makes it still this spring, at least here in Belgium. Solstice is on June 21st, and we are going to be shipping Divinity Original Sin on June 20th, 2014. So, expect to be playing the full version of Divinity Original Sin that day. And if it doesn't happen on that day, then it will be for an extremely, very good reason, which will definitely be force majeure, because we are working very hard to make that particular date. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. There's a lot of extras that have been added to today's version. It should be much more stable, much more polished. It looks a lot better in my opinion. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. You should also have a much easier time finding people to play with, because we've added a global chat functionality, which is even active in single player, because don't forget, you can invite people even if you're playing in single player to join your party, so that's a lot of fun. Definitely try it out. And more than likely you will find Larian employees on there, so there will be people from our team who are playing Original Sin who might join in your party as you're trying out this new beta version of Divinity Original Sin. Once again, I want to thank everybody who backed us on Kickstarter 1 year ago. You have no idea what you made possible for us and how much beyond our own expectations Original Sin has become. So we are very proud of it. But we're also going to be very relieved when the game is going to finally ship, because we put a lot of our hearts and souls into it, but we're also slightly tired by now. All right, take care everybody, and I'll see you on the next update, which will be about things like collector's editions and Macs and so forth. Bye.
Speaking of the military, if there's something you don't want to neglect, it's the bids and requests of your generals. Their influence on the battlefield is not to be taken lightly.
Have a sherry to calm those nerves.
In the Queen's quarters, decorated